Back in October of 2014, Microsoft decided that it would strap 10 sensors to your wrist and ask consumers to go out and conquer their fitness goals. This is the story of the Microsoft Band. The Microsoft Band was ambitious, it was overachieving, and packed with more technology than a cheap drugstore spy thriller. Microsoft's little fitness tracker featured a lot of technology, including an optical heart rate monitor, GPS, UV sensor, gyrometer, accelerometer, galvanic skin sensors, and even a skin temperature gauge. The Band was also different in how it did things, even when compared to many trackers today. Most notably, its screen featured a horizontal layout, making it really easy to read when looking down at your wrist. It allowed for far more screen real estate than trackers that use the more traditional vertical screen layout. The Band also worked seamlessly with the Microsoft Phone platform, another dead product line that we actually loved and will probably eventually feature here. It really seemed like Microsoft's hardware team really went all out, as their little device could track your sleep, track your steps, your stress levels, and unfortunately, probably your level of regret for not waiting to buy an Apple Watch that would release only a few months after the Band launched. It also doesn't help that outside of Xbox, Microsoft has never really gone all in with regards to hardware, having lots of great gadgets that they have abandoned far too soon. While today, very few people probably remember the Microsoft Band. The device did sell out almost instantly upon launch. This is probably because Microsoft made about 12 of them and limited their release to dedicated Microsoft stores. And for whatever reason, Microsoft thought it was a good idea to essentially stealth announce the device and launch it for sale on the following day, giving off some serious Sega Saturn-like vibes. But from solely a marketing point of view, this move actually worked, and maybe even caught Microsoft a little bit off guard. Fans scrambled to snag a Band, scalpers rejoiced on an already expensive product, and for a brief but glorious moment, it looked like the Microsoft Band might actually compete in the fitness tracker space. But then reality set in, and the eventual competition from the Apple Watch that Apple would almost certainly go all in on. Maybe that quiet launch and limited availability wasn't a marketing choice, but in order to cover the rush to market in trying to beat the Apple Watch. Maybe it was also to hide early issues that the Band suffered from. The battery life wasn't great, 2 days if you were lucky by most accounts. Devices were also known to break apart, requiring repair or outright replacement. And trying to use Cortana from your wrist felt less like the future and more like talking to a slightly confused toaster. The original Microsoft Band just sort of felt like an exercise in futility. By late 2016, Microsoft quietly pulled the plug on the hardware and on any future iterations of the Band that they had planned. And in 2019, they shut down the health app for good, offering refunds to the diehards who were still somehow clinging onto their Bands, like some form of emotional support Tamagotchi. Microsoft's wrist-mounted Swiss Army knife of sensors crashed harder than anyone could have imagined, which is a shame, as it was a great device that just needed a little time and a little room to breathe. Many, myself included, felt that the Microsoft Band was simply doing too much, too soon, and at too high a cost. Only there to really get ahead of the Apple Watch from a Microsoft corporate sense. Now, the fitness band market never took off like many figured that it would, now mostly limited to a few large players and cheap Chinese junk by fly-by-night companies on Amazon with AI-generated names, all using essentially the very same band. Today, the market has settled into its niche, and Microsoft Corporate was probably only really interested in beating the Apple Watch to the punch early, and not invested enough to stick it out and really compete in this space. The Microsoft Band could really have been the way Microsoft got into the wearable market if only they had given the platform time to grow. In its short time, its iterations like the Band 2 did get better, with the Band 3 potentially set to fix most, if not all, issues by finally also becoming waterproof. It's unfortunate because the Band 3 was feature complete and ready for market before Microsoft killed the platform outright. Imagine for a moment if Microsoft had taken their time and supported the Band platform as its own thing and not as a way to beat Apple to market. Maybe add in support for new features that would be exclusive to the Band, or add NFC technology as the line grew. Perhaps we'd be living in a Band world, instead of the Apple Watch one that now dominates the market. In the end, the Microsoft Band was pretty awesome, but simply wasn't profitable enough, quickly enough for Microsoft to give a real chance. The high cost of the device, thanks to all the included technology, also didn't help, especially as reports from the time suggested that Microsoft was actually selling each band at a loss. Today, the Microsoft Band is dead, but not completely buried. There exists a small community of users still tracking their fitness goals and using their band with older Microsoft phones like the famed Lumia 520 and 1520. So, if you have an old band laying around the house, you can follow the Microsoft Band community over on Reddit to get help with your device and to tell stories about what that device could have eventually become. Thank you for watching this episode. If you like what you saw and heard, the best thing you can do to support this channel is to simply like, comment, and subscribe. We hope to bring you more episodes about failed old tech in the future, and subscribing is the best way you can stay up to date on those releases. Until next time, take care of yourselves and have a fantastic day or night wherever you may be, and we'll see you again in the next video.
This program is made possible by annual financial support from viewers like you.